WhiteWater power driver board and MPU board sent in to me for various repairs. And I'll go over what those are in just a second. Let's boot her up. This is my GI tester. This is my switch matrix tester. Now you hear the solenoids going off and this message because I don't have the rest of the switch matrix connected to the game. So let's put it through the tests. First test is switch edge test. Now again, I'll use my Pennytech tester and go through every row and every column. That was diagonal just for giggles. So the ULN 2803 on the CPU board was blown, so I removed it cleanly, socketed it, and then replaced it with a brand new one. Do solenoid test. So you could hear each of those solenoids firing. I'm going to do general illumination. Sorry. So you can see all the strings of general illumination are working. We'll do all lamp test. And everything is working here properly. Now we'll do lamp and flashers. I like to use this technique because it's just easier to see the flashers and the lamps at the same time. So you can see all of your back box flashers are operating properly there. And there's a few on the play field also. They're mostly in parallel anyway, so if they're working in the back box, they're working on a play field. So that is it for this CPU and driver board. Now let me connect the switch matrix up and the rest of the lamp matrix. I'm sorry, the rest of the GI. Right. And boot it back up again. The Bigfoot's working properly. And I get to play some WhiteWater in just a second, but to go through what was wrong with these boards is the 2803 in the center of the picture was blown. Client had alerted me of that. So again, I socketed and replaced it. In the center of the picture, just below the ASIC, there's a reset generator. This one's responsible for resetting the game if the voltage drops below 4.75 volts. Now, I replaced that with one that resets the game at 4.5 volts. So it's going to be, the game will be more robust with respect to resetting now. It won't reset. If it did before, it will not reset now. Also installed Pennytech NV RAM, replaced J210 power header, and I'm going to replace C31 here. Looks like I forgot to put that in. On the power driver board, always replace C2, always replace C4, and on this board, I replaced both C11 and C5. And the reason I replaced C11, which I don't normally do, is because it was domed. And on WhiteWater, there is a way to connect connectors on the bottom so that you're creating a sneak path and damaging C11. So the way you prevent that from happening is by installing a blocking diode. It's tough to see there in the center of the picture, but it's soldered between the PCB and this big sand resistor. And even if you connect the connectors backwards, nothing will happen to that capacitor any longer. So both board sets good to go. I guess proof positive that that capacitor is not so consequential, but I will replace that before I send it back to the client. Thank you so much for sending them. Much appreciated.